Well, morning, zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? It's Monday. Another bug spraying Monday. It's the 17th of July, 2023. I'm not even alive or awake yet this morning. Trying to be, and asking myself what the hell I'm doing here. Oh, we're still cooking. Outside it's 87 degrees in Lancaster, California. So it's roughly about that temperature range for the Antelope Valley, and not to mention for Roseman, even though we are cooking our butts off. I'd say it's about 81 out here. Oh, I really didn't want to get into the politics. Everyone else is bitching and griping about stuff. We still have the actors' strike and the writers' strike going on. We haven't seen anything like this in a hell of a long while, and now we got technology out there that's going to be threatening their livelihood, every aspect of it. Artificial intelligence. We got the chatbots out there. We got these writing algorithms out there, the zeros and ones that we cleverly wrote. And we're going to be putting ourselves to extinction on this point. It takes the programs do examples of past writings and ideas in the past that's already been recorded. That's already been recorded. And these damn things are forcing. Hold on a second, I got something else going on here. Apologize for that. I was trying to see if there was anything interesting and chewy to chew on. I was talking about the artificial bots. Am I an artificial bot? Would I be an artificial bot? Could I be an artificial bot? Could I be in those kind of situations where I'm going to be artificially created and then talk about my past constantly on a basis and try to bring up elements and theoretically make that entertainment? And yet, if I had allowed chatbots or artificial intelligence to do that, would it be detracting on how the hell I feel each day? Would it know each day that I am feeling one way or another? And the problem is, it wouldn't. The only thing the chatbots could do is try to write something of an algorithm if they can, but they would have to get the new material somewhere. Material I would have to supply them. But if I'm not supplying them, then they're recreating and they're recycling. That's how I view it. Artificial intelligence, we haven't even got to the point where they're going to be running our lives in the computers, but they are going to be taking over our jobs one way or another. And it's bad enough that we actually have self-service counters where people have to do their own damn checking, actually check out the stores. But to have a chatbot, it's bad enough we actually had to deal with the automatic system on the phones for decades. And we actually invented the technology. Push a button here, push a button there. And now we got chatbots writing our stories, our essays. And when the professors can't tell the difference between humanity and artificial intelligence, we're in trouble. When they start accepting that, that's a different story altogether because I don't think. I remember a story that I came across, what was it, last month? About this one. A professor had to flunk an entire class because they used, or he suspected that they used, an artificial intelligence bot of sorts to write their essays. And the thing is, I like to put differences in my essays. I wanted to make it a story of sorts. I like to create a scenario where the professor is looking at the situation and trying to understand what's going on. Initiative. It's one thing using critical thinking skills, and that's the thing that the professors are afraid that the students are getting lazy about. Is using those kind of bots because they are afraid they don't know how to use critical thinking. They don't know how to use this, how to analyze it one way or analyze it another way. I look at it from a storyteller point of view. I don't look at it as something else. I don't look at it from zeros and ones point of view. And I'm sorry, but I'm just that kind of guy. I'm sorry, I'm just not that kind of guy. So now we're into that kind of situation where we have the actor strikes and the writer strikes. The actors don't want their likenesses copied by artificial intelligence. The writers don't want artificial intelligence screwing up their damn work. Could a 0 and 1 program actually create a script? Make it funny, make it sad, motivate you, piss you off. It would have to take the subtlety of human behavior to learn about it in order to do that with us, but it doesn't. What the actors are afraid of is their likenesses, once it's captured in digital, be captured by the 0 and 1 and have that forever own them. Own them. How would you like it if a 0 1 actually owned your ass? Everything of your lifestyle. It's one thing that I'm storing information on flash drives, which I got myself a new one. These things I have to be wary of. These things are now zeros and ones. The zeros and ones that I have in my hand would hold information. Would. And if somebody actually got a hold of it, or even a 0 1 got a hold of it somehow, then my life is stolen in a sense. My life is stolen. The likenesses, the voice, mannerisms, characteristics. They could be doing their own YouTube channel, and you never even realize it. How does that grab you? I like to watch old movies. Is it going to be capturing the essence of old movies that we used to like a long time ago? That's old farts like to watch left and right? Because we remember times before what we're seeing right now, before the younger generation understands this shit. I mean, they'll look at the old movies and scratch their heads and like, how does it relate to us? Because they're never even bothered to study history because they're allowing everything else to run before them. Artificial intelligence, computers, androids, cybernetics. Welcome to that stage of science fiction that we've already got into, cyberpunk, where technology blends in with the human flesh one way or another, and that we are ruled by the machines in the zeros and ones one way or another, where technology has, they're trying to get more and more grasp of the human subtlety, nuances, the things that we take for granted and don't even realize. How about an irritation? Irritation of how a paper towel roll was rolled up or not rolled up properly. Try the people with the ADHD crazy at this point. Or let alone get sick and tired of having a towel around the place. They like things neat and tidy. But on whose version of neat and tidy is it? Am I saying I like this new day and age coming up? Nope. Would I like to have a robot for a friend? I'm not quite sure. Would it be able to think? Would it have the human algorithms in it to be spontaneous? As I see the zeros and ones, that they are programmable zeros and ones. They are algorithms. But them programming themselves and evolving, would we be able to deal with that? Would a student be able not to be a student anymore? Or to be any colleges or universities left, let alone schools? Plug the kid in, sit him in front of a computer screen, or just basically plug his whatever port is going to be installed into him, and then he gets to be turned into a Borg drone. Absorb the knowledge of the human race without a teacher, without providing context, perspective, understanding, maturity, experiences, without the human element in it. The zeros and ones are just zeros and ones and doing machine. Can't go beyond its own programming, its own code. There's a reason why sometimes I'd watch science fiction shows and cartoons. There was a cartoon series I just finished up. First two seasons, we'd seen it on the West Coast out here, but we hadn't seen the other two to understand what that was all about. And then there was another season of this cartoon show that's we'll never see. It was never filmed, never processed. It was never allowed. And that was over within the last 20 to 25 years. And it was a good show, too. It was out there originally from the mid 90s, using a lot of computer terminology that one would learn if they were doing programming. They would throw this stuff at people left and right. We'd seen something similar to that effect when the movie Tron came out. And we heard about all the technical crap they had concerning about programming. And we'd seen it. And then we see live actors trying to pretend that they're human or alive, basically. And then we had Tron Uprising. And we had Tron Legacy. And I liked that show and I liked the cartoons. But the other one I was talking about was called Reboot. It was Canadian cartoon computer generated fantasy. First two seasons, we'd see it here, as I said before, in the States. And the other two, you had to hunt for those online. They didn't put them out on DVDs. But if you get streaming services these days, you can actually find them. Actually, I found them on Pluto TV. And I watched them all. Hearing all this computer jargon left and right, sometimes if you kept watching it long enough, you get to figure out what the hell they're talking about, even for a layman. But the first two were kind of lighthearted a bit. Good versus evil. A virus trying to destroy a mainframe computer system. And how the people in there are trying to fight back to keep their system virus free. Until they had access to the internet and the web, and then all hell broke loose. And their guardian program was trying to do everything you can to save that damn thing, that mainframe. But it was season 3 and 4 that they were getting in more and more into what was alluded to already in season 1 and 2. The banter back and forth. You'd see a relationship kind of building up here. 3 and 4 would deal with the actual relationships and deal with more mature subject matters, while dealing with the safety of the internet across the world. It got you caught up. But drag your ass down there, too. Keep watching it long enough, and it was just, oh, God. Are you over yet? Are you over yet? Sometimes I had to fast forward. I couldn't deal with it. I mean, you're really talking about maturity, and maybe at a different mindset and a different age bracket, I would have maybe had enjoyment or probably feel the same damn way. And they were talking about life and death, literally, in the show. Life and death. Zeros and ones talking about life and death of their own territory, of their own existence. And I'd see the same damn thing when we had the second Tron movie coming out and that Tron cartoon that Disney put out. And I seen how it was important that they would write it in a mature level where even the young adults could appreciate it. The kids are like, oh wow, but the adults are like, oh shit, there goes another favorite character of mine gone derezing in already. Broke apart into subatomic particles and never to be seen again. What made it harder for me to watch these things is how much I would invest my time, my energy in there to grow attachments to them. Grow attachment to the characters. This is human writing. This is human writing. This is not a zeros and ones program here. This is human writing. Have to dig in with everything that we know inside of ourselves for this. Zeros and ones can't do this shit. They'll pick and choose the words left and right, but they won't even understand the connotations or denotations. It doesn't understand. I don't think it has the technology just yet to understand the influences and the nuances of being human, of being human like thinking. I mean, sure, maybe how to screw up a professor concerning about an essay. Put on your facts, maybe write it as dryly as possible. But not where it piques up a human professor's interest, where things were different, in a different viewpoint, a different perspective. Sure, you had to use your critical thinking by tearing these things left and right, but we have to look at it in our own unique perspectives at this point. And the writer's strike is having issues with those producers who just want to get rid of the damn actors one way or another. Now, I'm not saying it, but they're going to say it. Once you get the essence of the actors on electronic film, now you can digitally manipulate them. Put them in different commercials, put them in something else without recompense. Writers don't want that. The actors don't want that. But this is the time. This is the day of where technology is really becoming leaps and bounds and scares the crap out of people. Of the old guard who used to the celluloid films. Before we had the sounds, we had the black and whites. And it took them a while to get used to the sound quality while putting that onto celluloid film where we're actually able to see it for a long while before we had the digital format. And how it made sense to us. Now we're in a digital technological age right now where nothing makes sense. The youth are like, oh yeah, we can make the fun out of it now. And I'm thinking, I have turned into the old guard. Preservation. Preservation of the old because we don't want the old to wither away and die and be forgotten. And we look at the youth and tell them what you're doing is wrong because you'll be running into the same situation and you'll be screaming and yelling at the future generation after that as our lifestyle, as our humanity had been taken away by the zeros and ones, and then we should have listened to the elders. The sentiment that we have bounced from generation to generation. We should have listened to our elders. But how far back do we go? What time was it to save time? Because every time is the transition. It scares the old guard because we don't know what to make of it, and the youth are having too much of a fun time with the damn thing. We're screwed up one way or another. Can you imagine a robot or an android drinking coffee? Processing the acidic drink going in our throat and giving us a caffeine jolt while screwing around with our cardiovascular system or their cardiovascular system. They wouldn't need it, they would need energy. Energy of a source, energy produced in one way where they are functioning. And their energy is, to us, is food. We need the physical elements to break it down in our body. We need to metabolize it in order to get the necessary nutrients and energy levels out of them. Even coffee. I don't know. It's just something I had to think about every time I kept hearing about this actor's strike and the writer's strike at the same damn time. While at the same time, I'll have to get into the political in the next video on this one, I guess. But I may hope for one particular outcome, but we're going to be getting another outcome we didn't even expect out of this.